Hello, guys, and welcome to the Marigold Standard, your weekly audio source of all things Dream Star Fighting Marigold. I'm your host, Rob Goodwin. I'm joined as ever by Mr. Matt Turner. Matt Turner, we are mere weeks away from our historic trip to Japan. Let's just put it that way. We are inching closer to a full card to First Stream 2026. It's an exciting time. How are you?
I'm phenomenal, buddy. I am great. As we record, it's my dad's birthday today. So happy birthday, Dad. I know that you're listening.
Big up, Mr. Turner.
That's right. And yes, Dad, I will be bringing you beer when I come and visit you this weekend, and the good beer, because I'm in that, I'm in that phase in my life. No, brother, I'm really good. 2 weeks to Christmas. I was just looking at the calendar this morning. Next week is my last full week of work.
Wow.
And then that's it, off for the holidays, and then off, obviously, 2 days after Christmas, 2 days after Santa comes down the chimney, that we will be heading our way for our first time ever to Japan. And I'm sure that you saw a few hours ago, New Japan announced that for the third time, the Tokyo Dome has sold out. All the extra tickets have sold out. So they said there's going to probably be around 51,000 tickets sold for Wrestle Kingdom 20. And Rob, I'll tell you right now, 3 of those tickets are somewhere in this house, my friend. Somewhere in this house. As soon as my wife, I told the story on here a few weeks ago when my wife was like, "What did I sign for Japan?" I'm like, "Those are our tickets." She's like, "Okay, I'm going to put them somewhere where they won't get lost." So I don't know where they are. She does better her than me.
Absolutely.
But I'm pretty good when it comes to, like, if you ask me where my comic books are or certain things like that, yes. If Amber asks me, "Hey, can you get the gallon of milk?" I'm like, "I don't know. Where is it? Is it in the cupboard, or is it in the basement, in the fridge?"
Washing machine.
Yeah, who knows? But no, brother, I'm super excited. Obviously, 4 shows from Marigold to talk about. So yeah, a lot of exciting things going on. But how's everything your neck of the woods? And you getting pumped up for your big win over Darren Chatton this weekend, buddy? That's what I want to know. Now, is that Saturday or Sunday? You have to remind me.
That is Sunday. And actually, I do need to ask a friend of the show, Andy, who is also going to Japan and is also a Newcastle fan. Newcastle played Burnley whilst we are out in Japan. I need to ask if he is up for going to find a bar or something where that game is on, as well as you. Obviously, that goes without saying.
I have a lot of questions. I have a lot of questions,
Mate, that's fine. Bring Amber along, and we'll get gently riddled and watch Newcastle lose to Burnley. But yeah, so I'll have to. I'm sure Andy's listening. So Andy, if you are listening, let me know. Apparently, I have found out there is a British pub by Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, I guess there's a meetup. There's, I guess, a meetup in between Tokyo Joshi Pro and in Wrestle Kingdom, and I said that was a British bar. So I told Amber, she goes, "Well, Rob better be able to handle."
Absolutely.
I know Guinness and the British Bulldog Power Slam, and of course Ozzy. So I'm in, an Iron Maiden, British metal. I'm good to go, buddy.
Well, Iron Maiden did do a run of the Trooper beer, so maybe that will be there. Who knows? But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm excited, my man. I am very excited. I'm also excited to talk about these 4 shows from Marigold, because we had quite a lot of movement in terms of First Stream from obviously the last time we spoke to now. We've had the show in Naru, we've had the doubleheader at Sapporo, quite a successful doubleheader at Sapporo for Marigold, and then we've just had the live show from Shinjuku Face and the return, of course, of Utami Hayashishita. It looks like we have got a fairly fleshed out card, as I mentioned before, for First Stream on the 3rd of January in Ota Ward, which, of course, myself, you, and Amber will be at. Two not confirmed matches, and I call them not confirmed matches because there is no match graphic, 4 confirmed matches for that card. And of course, it's First Stream, Matt, that we are going to start with, because where else would we start? Because the main event of the show has been announced, and that is that Megaton will be holding an open challenge, Matt Turner. You can keep your Miku Aono versus Mai Sakurai, and can we just talk for a minute about their preview tag matches? Because goodness gracious me, leave something for Ota Ward, ladies. Good grief. honestly, great stuff. I feel like Marigold has properly hit a groove with these preview matches over the course of the last like 3 or 4 pay-per-views. We know you can Mayu and Takumi Iroha. Yeah. A 2.5-star match ceiling. Megaton will be holding an open challenge, and I don't want to jinx it, but after Minoru Suzuki walked out at Ryogoku, I am expecting Kobashi minimum.
Oh my goodness! I already had a name in there, but you outblew you.
I cannot describe to you, and we know people from Marigold listen to this, right? I cannot express how disappointed I will be if this turns out to be Gigaton.
You know who? As soon as I saw this, I was kind of going through, and I don't know if you saw what Japanese wrestling legend came out of a retirement for a 4-minute match with Joey Janela. Did you see this?
I didn't.
Jushin Liger had like a 4-minute match. Yeah, with Joey Janela.
Ooh, then.
The way that it's looking, there's too many retired wrestlers. Now the retired wrestlers that have been retired need to come out of retirement. Obviously, Nanae Takahashi, Meiko Satomura, we have Risa Sera, we have you, we have obviously Tanahashi, John Cena this Saturday. So I'm looking at all these retired wrestlers, and you mentioned Kobashi, great one, buddy. What about Stan Hansen? Don't you think Stan Hansen and Megaton, that's the match to go to?
Well, we know that Megaton, especially after this run of shows, is rather susceptible to a lariat. So
you saw where I was going, buddy.
I did indeed. 23 seconds. Genuinely, that was really funny. But yes, obviously, we don't know who Megaton is going to be facing. It is a mystery opponent. And it created quite a lot of buzz, didn't it, after Grand Destiny? Obviously, we don't know what Sakurai is doing or whether Sakurai will be on this show. I would be surprised if she's not on this show. And when I sort of talk about in a moment who isn't on this card as of yet, there is a hole for Sakurai, and we'll get into that in a moment. But yes, of course, Megaton has been announced. Also announced is a 6-woman tag match, which really does highlight the embarrassment of riches that Marigold have in terms of this young Marigold movement. Shoko Koshino and Seri Yamaoka versus Kazuna Tanaka, Kamomo Minami, and Yuuka Yamazaki. So just a great 6-woman tag to really showcase this is our future and the present in the case of Seri Yamaoka, certainly. But again, look at who is going to be carrying this promotion forward. You know, we're not just about Mayu and Mai Sakurai and Miku Aono and Utami and even Victoria Yuzuki. We've also got a great depth of roster, which is really, really exciting for me. Now, Matt, obviously, before I throw to you in regards to that, the 4 confirmed matches that we have, obviously, we had Mai Sakurai, Miku Aono for the World Championship, and Mayu Iwatani versus Takumi Iroha for the GHC Women's Championship. They were confirmed last week, and we spoke about that. It is looking heavily, as I'm going to mention in a moment, like we are also going to get Victoria Yuzuki versus Shoko Koshino for the United National Championship. Not a direction I thought we were going to go, but an exciting one nonetheless. And we are going to be having an All Darkness Revolution affair for the Twin Star Championships as well. Now, Matt, obviously, we're going to talk about those 2 matches in a moment, not technically confirmed as of yet. Before I ask about anything else, your thoughts on the Megaton Open Challenge? Obviously, great. What about the 6-woman tag as well?
Real quick, buddy, mentioned Sakurai and what she's been doing. Rumor has it, and I cannot confirm or deny these rumors, that Sakurai is working Stardom on 1-3, Marigold on 1-3, and Stardom on 1-3, because that's how busy she is. That's how busy she is.
Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise. I mean, she is wrestling. I know that she's got that match with Mirai for the Otani tribute show at Korakuen on the 1st of January. So I know she's wrestling that. I'm sure I've read somewhere that she's got a match on the 2nd as well. So she is going to be extremely busy over this week.
Yeah, I mean, who knows how many shows she'll pop up on? She might be the Maya World of these
True,
of these run of shows. But no, that it's so funny because we made mention on the Marigold Standard last week when we were trying to figure out who Yuzuki's opponent's going to be. We threw a lot of names out there. Then once I settled on Seri Yamaoka, I'm like, that makes sense because they kind of been building towards them It would be a big match for them. And then, of course, like 6 hours later, they announced this, like, next generation 6-person tag. I'm like, oh, the Marigold Stardom cast Talk Joshi Jinx, Rob Goodwin. But that's going to be a great one. I would actually start the show off with that. You want a hot opener, it's going to be 1,200, 1,300, something like that. I mean, it's one of the biggest shows of the entire Wrestle Kingdom week, as I'm pretty much dubbing it. That I would start the show off with that one. That is going to be a big one. And I think that's when you highlight Sari, and then I think you get Sari the win there, and then she challenges the winner of the Victoria Yuzuki versus possibly Shoko Koshino, because I think that would be a really great way to move towards your next Cork and Hall show at the beginning of the year. But I think that's going to be a really good one. I think that's, again, a really great way if they do decide to start off the show with, because it's a great way to highlight all the young talent that they have in Marigold.
Yeah, absolutely. Could not agree more. So that show is looking very, very good. Obviously, I did mention that it is looking like we are having an all darkness revolution affair for the Twin Star Championships. We're going to be talking about Misa Matsui and Chiaki defending those belts against Chika Goto and Minami Yuki very shortly in the Shinjuku Face review, but they nominated Nagisa Nozaki and Rhea Sato as their next challengers. I'm really excited for this. I think this could be really, really, really good.
Yeah, a really solid tag match to end that show, and we'll get into it because actually Amber's been watching a little bit of Marigold with me to kind of get herself familiar.
All right.
Obviously, she knows the Stardom. She knows the former Stardom wrestlers wrestling in Marigold, which is she kind of wants to know stuff a little bit more. So she did watch this entire match with me, Rob, and I did annoy her by doing the Goto chant over and over while I was watching this. But I was like, "Ooh, this is very interesting." And I had to explain that these two are in the same, they're in the same faction, the same heel faction. So that is a very interesting way to go. Rhea Sato has been on an absolute tear. Obviously, she flew over to Miami for one match, hit the beach, did the show, and then flew home. So good on her getting out and about to over here in the United States. Nagisa Nozaki, who's always been really good. It really seems like she's had an extra spark these last few shows, especially the 4 shows we're going to talk about. Chiaki has been getting a lot of wins. A lot of wins,
yeah.
And Misa Matsui is a really next generational wrestler. She's really, really fantastic. She's always been really good, since the start of Marigold, but since the heel turn, having a little bit more character involved as well, having a little more viciousness as well. So again, I think this will be another really, really great tag match coming up on 1-3. If it is official, Rob, again, everything seems signed, sealed, delivered, except for the match graphics. And if there's one thing that I've learned from you over the years, and I've learned a lot, is that if there's no match graphic, it's not official. So
absolutely not. Until we see those faces and a graphic, it's not official. Even though they did say that it was going to be on the 3rd of January. And you mentioned, of course, the Sukiban match. That was the reason why Rhea Sato wasn't on the cards in Sapporo. Misa Matsui, however, was on the Sukiban card and flew back. Fair play to her, taking a leaf out of Megan Bain's book. However, I do just want to take this moment just to remind everyone of Misa Matsui's name in Sukiban, because it is still the most hilarious name in all of wrestling. Never forget that she is smack in the box.
That's right. I couldn't think of it. I was like, oh man. Man,
it's up there with the worst wrestling names I've ever heard. But it's such a shame because she's so damn good. I know that obviously Sukiban is almost a parody of itself, and parts of it again are sort of tongue in cheek. But yeah, that really did make me laugh.
This is a free little tidbit for all you promoters in America. Bring Misa Matsui over as Smack in the Box.
Yeah. Okay, maybe not.
Hold on,
box, but okay.
hold on. Let me finish. Have her team with Tommy Dreamer, because you know what theme Tommy Dreamer comes out to.
Man in the Box.
Yeah, Man in the Box and Smack in the Box.
I like it. Okay. Okay. I was like, this is a test live on air, and my brain immediately went, okay, good luck, Rob. And I was like, I know the answer. And my brain was like, I'm not going to tell you the answer then. Thanks, brain. But yes, this will probably be official for 4-0 to Ward. I'm almost 99% sure. And what will annoy me is this will release on Friday, and I guarantee that as soon as it's released, the match graphic will come out, or just before we release it, the match graphic will come out.
Consistency. Consistency is key,
Absolutely.
Rob.
And much as we laugh at Smack in the Box, Misa Matsui's dedication was incredible because she must have been jet lagged to hell. And then going to have that fantastic match with Victoria Yuzuki in Sapporo, and then being the standout in that tag match as well for the Twin Star title. She really is a phenomenal talent. She really, really is. And I wish nothing but an extended run at the top of the promotion for Misa. What it looks like we also are going, and this is a direction that neither of us thought that we would be going, is Victoria Yuzuki having successfully defended the United National Championship against Misa Matsui, Smack in the Box.
Dun, 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 dun.
I really want to.
Sorry.
I want to get to a point where I don't laugh when I say it, but I don't think I'm ever going to get to that point.
No, don't break the gimmick, buddy. Don't break the gimmick. It's over.
But yes, it looks like where we are going is Victoria Yuzuki versus Shoko Koshino, the former our Lord and Savior Flying Penguin for Ota Ward. Now, this was a really interesting one because obviously we'd mentioned potentially going with Seri Amoka. We'd even mentioned someone like Kasuna Tanaka. We'd mentioned certainly Utami Hayashishita. But it looks like Marigold are fully behind Shoko Koshino, obviously having gotten rid of the Flying Penguin gimmick. There's been a lot more fire in Shoko Koshino in the last couple of shows, obviously challenging in Sapporo, having to prove herself at Shinjuku face. We know that Victoria Yuzuki is a very, very intense competitor. And we see that in her match with Misa Matsui. You know, we see it every time she wrestles. We saw it in the Mirai retirement gauntlet where everyone else was having a really good time and Victoria Yuzuki just plowed through her. Like, just read the room, Yuzuki. But a couple of questions, really. Have you seen enough from Shoko Koshino that shows you that she is not worthy, because that's not fair, that she is sort of at that level, that she is at the level to challenge Victoria Yuzuki? And do you think that she can match once she's there? Do you think that she is going to be able to match the intensity that Victoria Yuzuki is undoubtedly going to bring to that match on a big stage as well?
The first question, no. I was kind of, when I saw this, I was like, I know it's not official. Maybe they build towards a Corkin and they slot somebody else in there. I'm like,
surprised.
this is a big jump because it's just like, okay, what about Utami? And again, I know Seri Yamaoka's in that in the six person. Like, what about Kazuna Tanaka? There's a lot of other wrestlers that I thought would have got this spot. We mentioned it last week and probably the week before that this match is probably going to go in between Mayu and Takumi Iroha and Miku Aono and Mai Sakurai. So this match absolutely has to deliver. So I don't see her in that spot yet. However, I don't book Marigold. I don't own Marigold. Now, obviously, I watched every single match, and obviously we podcast about it. So maybe there's something when she's training in the dojo that like Rossi sees or somebody else sees that we're just like, you know what, give her a big match. Or we know that Yuzuki is in the dojo like 24/7. She is pro wrestling 24/7. One of the many things I love about Victoria Yuzuki. And maybe when they're training together, they have some really fantastic chemistry. And maybe somebody was watching saying, this could be a massive breakout performance for Shoko. Somebody else that we can elevate to the top of the card. Now, if they do pull the trigger and we do get this match, I'm pretty sure Victoria Yuzuki gets the win. You can make a wrestler here, Rob. You really can. Again, this is going to be for the second most important belt on a pay-per-view. You know, they only have 4 of them a year. So Rossi doesn't, he doesn't give those spots away to anybody. So clearly him and everybody else behind the scenes, they see something really big in this match. So I'm super excited for it. I am all about giving opportunity to wrestlers to see if they can sink or swim. So I'm excited to watch this one. Again, still kind of a head scratcher, but it's like, hey, here's the opportunity. Hit a home run. And not only hit a home run for Shoko, but hit a home run for Victoria Yuzuki. Because if Victoria Yuzuki at 21 years old, only wrestling 2.5 years, can make a wrestler, what does that say about her? Because again, that is a talent where you can take somebody and just like, hey, I kind of really, really help them get to this spot this early, and especially in this part of her career without wearing the mask, because she took the Flying Penguin mask off only just a few months ago. So it's kind of a new gimmick for her, if you understand what I'm saying. So this is a big opportunity for the two of them. And again, Rob, my guess is this is going to have to follow Mayu and Takumi, which might be the best match we see all week, which, man, we got to come up with a list of all these matches we're seeing, because it's crazy. I mean, it's really wild, the matches that we're going to be seeing live, like unbelievable. But this match might be one that people are just gonna be like, yeah, it'll be okay. And it absolutely might blow it out of the water. And I hope it does. I hope it does, because I just want to see everybody succeed, especially these two wrestlers.
It's an interesting sort of answer that you've given there. It does feel very much like right, let's see if you sink or swim in this sort of situation. Because she did have that singles match with Mayu, which was very good. However, it's Mayu. And again, Mayu, she has matches where she has a sort of house show style and obviously a Korakuen or a pay-per-view style, as most wrestlers do. It's impossible to wrestle full tilt every single match. You just can't do it. But it was a good match with Mayu. And that was still as Flying Penguin. Obviously, she shed that gimmick for Grand Destiny, which was the 26th of October. So we are just over a month removed from Shoko Koshino wrestling under her own name, this sort of rebrand. I do think it's a case of, right, let's see what you can do in this high-profile situation. And we know that Rossi, as a booker, isn't scared of doing that, isn't scared of saying, right, go and prove yourself. Let's see what you can do in this situation. We've seen you in 6-woman tags, okay, on house shows in 176 box in Osaka, okay? We've seen you do it in Shinjuku Face. Right, let's see what you've got in a high-profile singles match. Am I surprised it is a high-profile singles match on a pay-per-view and not a Korakuen? Yes, I am. I saw fire and fight at Shinjuku Face that I haven't seen from Shoko Koshino yet. If we get more of that over the next, I think it's 6 shows, maybe 7 that Marigold have got before First Dream, if we see more of that, then I'm very excited for the match. And again, it is a chance for Shoko to prove herself. I'm 100% on board with you, my friend. I think Victoria Yuzuki retains this belt without a shadow of a doubt. I did think briefly, and again, it hasn't been announced. It is worth pointing out again, this has not yet been announced for the 3rd of January. Just it feels like it probably will be. We have still got that Korakuen coming up. So maybe they do this at Korakuen and someone challenges at Korakuen. But I imagine Rossi and Marigold will want the United National picture sorted in people's minds with, more than 7 days, which is obviously what doing Korakuen would give them. I would be interested to see who comes out and challenges afterwards, and also what this does for Shoko. I think that's the most important thing. We expect Victoria Yuzuki to win. It's a surprise for a lot of people. However, how is Shoko coming out of this? Because that's what I'm really excited about. And again, in the absence of a Koki Amare, in the absence of a Natsumi Shozuki, Shoko Koshino is getting that opportunity at the top of the card. I hope nothing but the best for her, and I hope she absolutely smashes it out of the park. And I'm sure she will, because again, something has been seen there. So I'm excited for that. And of course, she is our Lord and Savior. So of course, she deserves that opportunity. Moving on then, Matt, something that might well be at that aforementioned Korakuen Hall show is the next Superfly Championship challenge. So obviously a match, again, we are going to be talking about Hummingbird trying unsuccessfully to dethrone Mayu Iwatani as the Superfly champion. Kamomo Minami came out after that match to officially challenge Mayu Iwatani. It's a match I'm incredibly excited for. We've done nothing but sing the praises of Kamomo Minami, as have most Marigold fans, to be perfectly honest. She's been fantastic recently. This is an opportunity that feels really earned. And I'm actually a little bit disappointed it's not going to be at First Dream, but we're getting Mayu and Takumi Iroha, so I can't complain. You know, obviously, I think this will probably be at Korakuen. I am still clinging on to hope that we are going to get that Miya Momono singles match. We are steadily pushing it back. Maybe it'll be at Mayu's 15th anniversary show. I don't know. I don't know. However, in the absence of that match, I'm very excited for this because, again, especially since Mayu's arrival in Marigold, I feel like Komomo Minami has stepped it up a notch. And I think there's obviously been a lot of tutoring there. I know that Fuka has been on social media and said there are an insane amount of parallels between the two of them, both in the ring and outside the ring. And the idea of Mayu defending against one of her students, you know, just as she did with Victoria Yuzuki, I really like that story. I really do. And again, it's almost that rub of having a singles match with Mayu Iwatani at this point, you know, in a high-profile venue. Komomo Minami is going to be great. I have no doubt about that. And I don't think she wins. I think Mayu probably does hold on to that belt. But again, you know, you look at Hummingbird, who, you know, spoiler, I think it was easily her best singles outing. That was by a country mile. It was night and day from the last time she challenged for the Superfly title. But she felt bigger coming out of that loss for the way that she performed. And I have a strong feeling that that's where we're going to be with Komomo Minami following this match.
Rob, question for you and for everybody watching on YouTube. Please, I'm going to ask two questions, and please, everybody on YouTube, and leave your answer in the comment section. Looking at this photo, right? This is a giant cup in the middle of the ring, which once you retain said title, this is a cup that you get. Obviously, Utami had a very successful run as the World of Marigold champion, so I'm sure she has a bunch of these cups. Do you think Utami has drinking a few beers out of said cups like you do with the Stanley Cup? That's question number one.
I imagine if there is anybody in Marigold that does that, it will be Utami, because she is, I feel like she's the only person cool enough to make it work.
Yeah, I totally agree. And two, is Mayu's knee pad, the one we see there, is that the coolest knee pad in the history of wrestling?
Yeah, it is, without a shadow of a doubt. Yeah, I'm a big fan of that. Her gear in general with the Pochi stuff, I love it. I love the baseball shirt with it on. I love the the icon logo with it. Really, really good. Hats off to the designer of that. And also really, that amazing icon shirt that I've seen in the crowd as well. Really, really cool.
Yeah, I got a feeling that Rob Goodwin will be purchasing one of those, along with several
Rob Goodwin is going to come back from Japan broke.
I was already thinking, it was like, I remember when we were in Vegas the day before we were leaving, when you got the night before you got Amber drunk. Kudos to you, because that doesn't happen a lot. The next
I don't
morning,
have many talents, brother, but that is one of them.
You nailed it, brother. Way to go. It's the first time she's been drunk since she's taken my last name 13 years ago, because she really doesn't drink. Anywho, so I remember the next morning we were packing. She's like, no, I'll do all the packing. And she couldn't fit everything in the suitcase. And I was thinking of this the other day. I'm coming back from Japan with a lot more stuff than I did Vegas. There's definitely merchandise. There's definitely stuff I want to pick up for our good buddy Andy Header. Who knows what random stuff we'll be picking up at the wrestling stores. I'm going to maybe see maybe if I can purchase some sort of something really wild that you can't get over here in the States. So it's like, yeah, that's going to be it's going to be really interesting to see how that suitcase is going to be back when we come back home that first week of January. But going back to here, this is great with Komomo Minami and Mayu. And I keep saying it, and you keep denying it, and you're absolutely right. Every time Mayu has defended that belt, and I'm like, I think she might lose it. Like, I thought she was going to lose the Hummingbird, because with that belt, it's not the red belt, it's not the white belt. She needs to elevate one of the younger talent over. It's not like, well, she's going to drop it to Utami, or she's going to drop it to Takumi Iroha, or I think Komomo Minami's going to win here. I think this would help out, because let's face it, Mayu doesn't need that belt. She basically just came in and said, hey, I want to start from the bottom. I want to win every single championship. Okay, you got the Superfly. Boom, done. Defended a bunch of times, got a lot of wrestlers over in the process, defending that belt. And again, with Hummingbird, we'll talk about it in a few moments here, partner. I think Komomo Minami gets a win here. I really do, and I think it will do Komomo a lot of good. It's not going to hurt Mayu. And the belt's already elevated because it's on one of the best wrestlers ever. So why not put the belt on Komomo Minami? Give her the belt and then have somebody come out and challenge her and then almost do like a last minute match at First Stream on 1-3. And then this way you might be thinking, and then maybe Mayu beats Takumi Roha to win the GHC. That's a possibility. So I mean, then you have her do that run until then you build her up to the white and then the red, because obviously that's the stage she wants to go. But I'm going to say, again, I'm not going to put too much on it. I'm going to say I'm 55% sure Komomo Minami gets a win here. We've seen Komomo Minami get some big wins over these last few months. Why not? It's not going to hurt Mayu. It's not going to hurt Mayu at all. So I'm going to go on a crazy limb here, and I'm going to say Komomo Minami defeats Mayu Iwatani to win the Superfly Championship.
I mean, she did get that big win over Mirai on Mirai's way out, you know, and I know obviously, you know, on your way out, you do put over more and more people, but Komomo Minami was the big standout in Mirai's final run, that Komomo Minami got a clean pinfall victory over her. And I know Mirai fans will say everyone got a clean victory over Mirai at one point or another, but for Komomo Minami, I feel like that was a huge moment. Maybe you're right. Maybe they do. One thing that is certain is that the Superfly Championship's not going to be defended. Whoever wins this at Ota Ward, obviously Komomo Minami announced for that 6-woman tag match.
Right. Right.
So that's unfortunate, but with the matches we have got announced, I'm okay with that. The fact that I'm going to be watching Mayu Iwatani and Takumi Iroha live, the fact that I'm going to be seeing Miku Aono versus Mai Sakurai live after all of those previews, I'm very, very excited for that. It does, however, leave us 4 names that I could think of, and please, I know I will have missed one, but Hummingbird, Naomi Ishikawa, Nagisa Takibane, if she is back from injury by that point, obviously. Utami has nothing for First Stream either. So there's those 4. Natsumi Shozuki is currently posting a lot of pictures of her in the gym, training. I know that she was in the dojo recently as well. I'm hoping that we see a return soon of Natsumi Shozuki. What I'm trying to say is, with those 4 names that are left, and there is Arina Yamanaka potentially, there's Chanyota as well. I don't think there's enough to do a rumble there. Unless, of course, you add in the likes of Marvelous. Maybe they do something with the Marvelous roster. Maybe we do have another Marigold versus Marvelous thing. Obviously, we don't have anything for Chika Goto yet, which, I mean, come on. You know, we know that Chika Goto is going to be on this card. We got nothing for Minami Yuki either. I think an Utami-fronted team with Chika Goto and with Minami Yuki, Hummingbird, and Naomi Ishikawa against Marvelous with, I don't know, some sort of stakes there. I think that could be really interesting. I think that could be really good and a really good way of getting those talent. That, again, elevating that talent. We saw, I think it was the best thing that could have happened to Chika Goto. I'd argue it's probably the best moment of her career. You know, the most important moment of her career. Anyway, that match with Takumi Iroha as a part of that fantastic match at Korakuen Hall. I think that could be where we're going.
We haven't seen it in quite some time. So you're thinking there's going to be a Team Utami Marigold versus a Team Marvelous. You said stakes are on the line, like T-bone steak. That's important, buddy.
There is Ribera Steakhouse.
That's right. Oh, we got to go to Mr. Danger. Everybody was telling my buddies that wrestled in Japan, they were telling like, you guys got to go to Mr. Danger's steakhouse. So
okay,
yeah,
that's fine by me, mate. Yeah, don't need to tell me twice.
Maybe they'll have your football game on there, buddy. There you go. 2 birds, 1 stone. Yeah, that's a really good point. I would have no problem with that. I mean, you're telling me if it's like Utami, Chika Goto, Hummingbird, you know, a couple of Naomi Ishikawa, she's not on this card.
Naomi Ishikawa's not on the card now.
You put her on
nor there, Gigaton. It is worth pointing out that Gigaton isn't.
Not yet. But then maybe say Team Marvelous would be like Magenta, Miyamoto, Sanka, Sora, something like that. I'm all for that. I'm going to be a little greedy, Rob, considering the fact that we already have 1 rematch on this show from last year's.
You're going to say Utami and Suri, aren't you?
I'm going to say Utami and Suri.
Because that was what I was thinking as well.
I think there's 3 home runs that you could do with Utami. Utami versus Suri, Utami and the versus Marvelous, which we just talked about, or Utami versus Chika Goto, because that would be massive for Chika Goto. I think you need to use this show to get Chikagoto to that next level because she is right there and she's wildly over. And again, the last pay-per-view, she got to wrestle Sakurai and really had a really great outing.
Really good outing.
Yeah, so I think there's 3 right now. I mean, I'm sure like obviously Rossi's a genius booker and Utami is a big star for Marigold and just Joshi in general. So I'm sure whatever he has booked for Utami is going to be fine. But there's 3 answers to me, Rob, that are all right. I don't know what I'd like to see more. Obviously, Utami and Sakurai would be great. But if we get a gauntlet match that brings in Miyamoto and Magenta, if that's the trigger, I'm all for that as well. So, but let's say you, buddy, what's the one thing that you would like to see, and what's the one thing that you think would probably be with Utami? Because she's obviously the biggest star on this roster that doesn't have an announced match just yet, and obviously she just came back.
I think if there is a marvelous crossover match, you need to have a Marigold established name in there, and I certainly think Utami is that established name. From a selfish standpoint, I'd love to see a match with Chikagoto. Of course, Sakurai would be a big one as well to see. To in the same week see Sakurai and Natsupoi and Sakurai and Utami would be quite delicious. But again, we don't know if Utami is 100% yet. Again, we'll find out by Korakuen certainly on the 27th.
Well, she wrestled on this on the show the other day. She was in the tag match with Yuuka.
She did, but it's not a singles match. That's what I'm saying. Is she able to do, a high octane singles match on a pay-per-view, or is she still working her way back? That's more what I mean. It's different wrestling a 6-woman or an 8-woman or even a tag team match than it is wrestling a singles match against someone who does go hard like Sakurai. Let's not beat around the bush. She knows one level. She's very much a Victoria Yuzuki in terms of intensity. So yeah, there is that. I think if she wrestles Chikagoto, there's an argument to be made that Chikagoto could win.
She should, and I love Utami. She's one of my favorite wrestlers ever. But I mean, Utami is just Utami doesn't need the win, and then what's it going to take to heat Utami back up? One match. You know what I mean? Just have her wrestle Mayu or Yuzuki or anybody in a special.
Because Chikagoto doesn't have that singles victory yet.
She needs
she's got singles victories, but she hasn't got that big statement victory, which is obviously what Miku Aono was referencing during their feud. Utami could certainly be that name. We will see. She might be Chikagoto versus Megaton, and of course that should main event. But we'll see. We will see. Speaking of announced matches, just very, very quickly, Marigold have announced the next 2 cards. So they are running shows on the 13th and the 14th of December. 13th of December, night 7 of the True Victory Tour is in the 176 box in Osaka, and the card is as follows: Yuuka Yamazaki versus Megaton, Ria Sato versus Manami Yuki, Seriyama and Shino versus Kazuna Tanaka and Komomo Minami. 6-woman tag: Utami, Naoya Ishikawa, and Hummingbird versus Mai Sakurai, Chikagoto, and Shoko Koshino. We could set that match up right there. We could set that Utami and Chikagoto match up right there. And then what is currently slated to be a main event: Mayu Iwatani, Miku Aono, and Victoria Yuzuki versus the Darkness Revolution team of Chiaki, Nagisa Nozaki, and Misa Matsui. We then move to night 8 of the True Victory Tour, Sunday the 14th of December, in Tahara City Gymnasium in Aichi. The card is as follows: Yuuka Yamazaki versus Nagisa Nozaki in singles match, Hummingbird versus Minami Yuki versus Kazuna Tanaka, Chikagoto and Shino versus Megaton and Naoya Ishikawa, Mayu Iwatani, Komomo Minami, and Utami versus the Dance Revolution trio with Misa Matsui, Chiaki, and Ria Sato. And then again, what is slated to be your main event, a really, really good-looking preview tag: Miku Aono and Victoria Yuzuki against Mai Sakurai and Seri Yamoka. Again, no Nagisa Takibana on these cards, as she is still out of competition due to poor physical condition. Matt, 2 really tasty-looking cards from that show on the 13th on the Saturday. That's Sariyama and Shino versus Kazuna Tanaka and Komomo Minami tag. Looks really, really good. I'm looking forward to that. But this match here that we've got on screen, Miku Aono and Victoria Yuzuki versus Mai Sakurai and Sariyama, just hook it to my veins, in the words of Barney from The Simpsons.
That's right. Hook it to my veins. I'm going to kind of get through this real quick so you can get off this slide, because I am really intimidated by Sariyama. She's giving me the side eye here, buddy. I'm giving
all of Sariyama's renders are properly terrifying.
You know what's crazy? I have a daughter 3 years older than her. You know what I mean?
Like,
yeah,
mad.
I know.
Absolutely mad.
Again, this could have been a double preview with Sari and Victoria Yuzuki and again, who knows? Maybe if they pull the trigger on it, where Victoria Yuzuki says, I want to defend against Sariyama, and then they take Sari out of that 6-person tag and they put Shoko in there. Maybe that's something they can do. As I always say, buddy, cards subject to change. But yeah, Miku Aono and Mai Sakurai, they have special chemistry. They really, really do. Again, they had one of the greatest matches in Marigold short history at last year's First Dream. I expect this one this year's First Dream. I keep forgetting 1-3. It was about 350 some odd days, but technically it was still in the same calendar year. And Miku Aono's better now than she was back at the beginning of the year. Mai Sakurai is better now than she was at the beginning of the year, which is saying how great these two are. And these preview tags have just been nuts, like just absolutely nuts. But this is going to be a great, great main event. Miku Aono, Victoria Yuzuki, your two champions, against Mai Sakurai, the #1 contender, former United National Champion, versus Sariyama, a great up-and-coming wrestler and the first person to pin Mayu in the middle of a Marigold ring. So I'm super excited. All the matches look really, really good. I'm glad they're pairing Megaton up with Yuuka Yamazaki, because for some reason, that pairing is always entertaining.
It's really good, isn't it?
It's really good. Like, I mean, again, we're going to get into some of these shows, but like the first match we're going to talk about on the 30th, I'm like, just stop putting Hummingbird with Megaton. It never works. Like Kazuna Tanaka, it's like every other show. Like, just keep doing it with Yuuka Yamazaki. When you read Yuuka versus Megaton, I'm like, yes, that's the match I want to see, because it works. I don't know. Yuuka Yamazaki understands comedic wrestling, which is great. But yeah, two really good shows. Obviously, once these do air, hopefully that it does come up on Wrestle Universe sooner than later. But more than likely, myself and one Rob Goodwin will be reviewing those shows next week on the Marigold Standard.
Indeed. And Matt, you did mention the show from the 30th, so let's go straight into it. Night number 4 of the True Victory 2025 tour, the 30th of November. Kazuna Tanaka and Shoko Koshino, by the way, did return to action on this show. They had missed the previous show on the 24th due to the Naniwa Joshi Pro Wrestling event. Sorry, the 26th. Said the 24th event at the MBS Chayamachi Plaza in Osaka. So they did return. The announced attendance inside the venue, by the way, the Nara Centennial Hall in Nara, was 425 people. It's the first time the company have run the venue. In terms of the matches, singles match, Hummingbird defeated Megaton with a rolling spin kick in 7 minutes and 11 seconds. Another singles match, Misa Matsui defeated Yuuka Yamazaki with a diving double foot stomp in 9 minutes and 49 seconds. In a match that both myself and Matt were very much looking forward to, Sariyama defeated Kazuna Tanaka with the dial lock in 8 minutes and 10 seconds. 6-woman tag match, Mayu Utami, Shoko Koshino, and Victoria Yuzuki. They defeated the Darkness Revolution team of Chiaki, Nagisa Nozaki, and Ria Sato. Victoria Yuzuki pinning Ria Sato with the victory, shooting in 15 minutes and 43 seconds. And then in your main event, Chika Goto, Minami Yuki, and Mai Sakurai defeated Miku Aono, Komomo Minami, and now Ishikawa Minami Yuki, submitting now Ishikawa with the Boston Crab in 16 minutes and 26 seconds. Matt, you've already talked about it. Megaton and Hummingbird as a partnership. Talk me through it, buddy.
Absolutely. I think you got the result of the main event wrong. Chikagoto won with that power slam, but that's okay, buddy.
I apologize.
Because I was like, oh, man, I want to see the Goto choke. We'll get into it because it was the last move you saw of the match. I'm like, no, you need the choke slam. I keep saying it. Anywho, Mr. Rob Goodwin. Some pairings work, some don't. Obviously, we understand Megaton, the comedic character, Hummingbird, great wrestler. We've seen these pairings before. Tag matches, singles matches, 3-ways, they don't work. Please stop booking Hummingbird and Megaton. I'm sorry. Gentlemen's 3 stars. Don't know what more to tell you. This match went 5 minutes too long.
Match that I did really enjoy, and someone who I will be singing the praises of because I think she's fantastic, and someone who has a ridiculously bright future. Yuuka Yamazaki and Misa Matsui. I'm obviously going to be praising Misa Matsui a lot during this episode, despite her moniker of Smack in the Box, because she's tremendous. And I thought here, her and Yuuka Yamazaki, despite Misa leaning more into her heelish antics at points, because again, she is a member of Darkness Revolution, I thought she elevated Yuuka here, and I thought Yuuka did a really good job against Misa. I still think that Yuuka will turn heel at some point. She has got the vibe of a Darkness Revolution member, and I do wonder if they will eventually add a 5th member.
Rob, I haven't really seen that, but I haven't really looked for it. So now on these shows coming up, maybe she really kicks the crap out of Megaton.
Keep an eye out for it.
Look at that. Rob Goodwin, this match should have started the show. This either this one or the next one with Sarah and Kazuna. This was great. I mean, this was fantastic. A really great showing for Misa as we're building her up towards her championship match, which we'll get into in a few moments. But Yuuka, and we've been saying it the last few weeks, I'm going to say it again, such a great wrestler. Again, out of all these young rookies or these wrestlers only wrestling a handful of months, she's one that almost gets lost in the shuffle because of how great like Sarah Yamaoka is and Kazuna Tanaka and young Shino, and now we got Coco and she is terrific. And again, I mentioned it before with Megaton, like she has a great match here with Misa Matsui, who wrestles that early 90s New Japan style, the high speed style, the Superfly style. And then Yuka's also really good with the comedy stuff with Megaton, which again, it's one of the matches I'm really looking forward to this weekend. This was great. You had the great wrestling back and forth, great fundamentals, and then they really pick it up to another pace. I like it that they went almost 10 minutes because a lot of times we'll say, man, they only went 5-6 minutes. I wish it would have gone to 7, 8, or 9 minutes. And this had the time to really tell their story. Excellent, really stuff. I love Yuuka. She does that step up in Saguri, almost as good as Soria Inu, which is saying something because I think Soria Inu has been wrestling almost more years than Yuuka has matches. But Yuka's step up in Saguri is really, really good. And I like how she uses it almost like how Mayu uses the super kick, almost as a defensive maneuver to basically then to start building back her comeback. Really good stuff there. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Misa then hits the Misa flying knee and then the top rope foot stomp, which I absolutely love that. She has one of the best foot stomps in wrestling, which is saying something because there's a lot of really good ones that are out there. Putting away Yuuka Yamazaki, this was great. Again, I wish they would have started the show off with this because this was the definition of a hot opener. 3.5 stars for me. And even though Yuka's looking at the lights, she came out of this match looking a lot better than she did going in.
Agreed. And I think Komomo Minami is going to have a real breakout in 2026, but I think Yuuka Yamazaki isn't going to be far behind her because, again, we talked about it with Sardom with the likes of Matoya and Kanai. The benchmark for rookies debuting at the moment is just ridiculous. It really, really is. So, Yuuka Yamazaki is one to keep an eye out, certainly for in 2026. Seriyamoka and Kazuna Tanaka. I wish this had gotten more time, obviously. But again, there's a formula. I understand that. With the 8 minutes that they had, they showed everyone why they should have had more because I really, really enjoyed this match. These are two of my favorite wrestlers to watch. Kazuna Tanaka is such a pure babyface. Seriyamoka is such a pure badass. I can remember when she debuted and we were like, okay, she can wrestle, but, she hasn't quite got the stuff in between. It'll come. She's young. She's very, very fresh-faced. She's got it all, man, now. She really, really has. And when you look at the fact that it's going to be her, Victoria Zuki, and Rhea Sato guiding this company quite soon into the future, it's so exciting. It really, really is. You've got 3 completely different wrestlers there. And again, Seriyamoka, great match here with Kazuna Tanaka.
You know what Sari has that we never mentioned? She has great entrance music. She has really...
You know what? She really does. Underrated.
Yeah, really.
Let's not go too far, Matt. It's no Hummingbird.
Well, no, it's no... what's Naho Yamada, obviously.
Naho Yamada's was tremendous.
Yeah.
Miss Naho Yamada, man. Miss her so much.
Singing to the ring. Yeah, this was great. We've seen these two. They've had matches before, singles, tags. Y- it just works because you have the amateur style versus the shoot style. So you got that great ground wrestling, the fundamentals. None of that, but it's one thing where it's like, oh, they can chain wrestle, but some of their chains kind of sloppy or some of their shoots kind of sloppy. Like there's no holes in the game. Like when they go to the ground, it's like Seri's trying to grind Kazuna. Kazuna's just trying to pop that arm off because she's really good at that Fujiwara style armbar. I believe Fujinami, and I could have this wrong. I believe Fujinami did have a hand in training her dad. I'm sure he showed him something down the line. So again, Kazuna Tanaka is terrific here. Where the clear advantage goes is, and Sari's a really good striker, but she's not on the level of Kazuna Tanaka. Kazuna with those kicks really keeping Sari at bay. I totally agree. Like that last match almost got 10 minutes, and this one only got 8. This would have got 10, 11, 12 minutes. I thought it would have been terrific. Regardless, I actually liked this match a little bit more than the last match that we talked about. But really good stuff here. Sari stops the Redream with the gut wrench suplex, and then it's wicked German suplex into the dialogue for the 3 count. 3 3/4 stars. This was one of my favorite matches of these 4 shows. We're going to talk about excellent stuff. But I'm with you, partner. 3 3/4 stars, 8 minutes. Give me 10, give me 11 minutes, and this easily breaks the 4-star mark. But I have a feeling we're going to see these two wrestle quite a bit throughout the years in Marigold, considering I think their combined age, Rob, is something like 38, which is 5 years younger than my age. So
madness. Absolute madness. 6-woman tag, Mayu Utami, Victoria Yuzuki, and Shoko Koshino against the Darkness Revolution. Chiaki, by the way, and this is something that I'm really going to hammer home during the Shinjuku Face show. Chiaki is so over. Like, I didn't realize how much the crowd react to her and her heelish shenanigans. Her music, dude, that's the most unheelist music I've ever heard. It's such a catchy tune, and it's so like 90s pop punk. She needs to change it. It's too damn catchy for a heel.
There's some things that Darkness needs to change. Like they do majority of the heel stuff, but yes, like the dance is very like
the dance. I think that might be a callback because Oedetai used to do the dance.
That's what I mean.
I think that might be where they're going with that.
If you go back and watch it, it's kind of like cool. Like back then, you kind of get over as a heel, but like now, it's like too cool, and the crowd reacts to it, and they're smiling. That's the thing. It's like, are we supposed to? And then you throw the music in, like we're supposed to boo these people. And then the other thing, like when Nagisa Nozaki does that question mark kick on the apron, she points at the crowd to be like, I want the cheer, I want the cheer, I want the cheer. That's a baby face thing to do. And it's a cool move. And you could do cool moves as a heel as long as you do them in a heel way. So like they have the heel stuff down, like when it comes to bending and breaking the rules. But there's some stuff they do that it's like screams baby face. And I agree. The entrance music is one of them. However, Rob Goen, they will quickly boo the heels if the baby faces they're wrestling is Shoko, Victoria Yuzuki, and Mayu Iwatani. So it doesn't really take much for everything to get spin back around, especially when this match starts off with the jump brawl. So of course, you get the jump brawl there, and then we get the heat onto Shoko. We get the hot tag into Mayu. Mayu comes in and hits all the classic Mayu spots: the evasion drop kick, the Arabian press, double knuckle lock arm drag. And then we get, and I've said this before, when they do these multi-person matches, we get great tag work with Victoria Yuzuki and Mayu Iwatani. So maybe that's somewhere we go next year, is Mayu and Yuzuki winning the Twin Star Championships. That's a possibility. Yeah, because they work really, really well together. Unfortunately,
and they both want to be Grand Slam champions.
Yeah, actually, can you imagine that? You throw that storyline in there. So there's a really good possibility. Not only that, but you can main event Mayu and Yuzuki as your Twin Star champions in a Korakuen Hall and do like roughly around 1,000. Can you imagine do like Mayu and Yuzuki versus Utami, like a Naomi Ishikawa in Korakuen Hall? That'd be phenomenal.
Koki Amare when she comes back.
Yeah, and Chikagoto Manami Yuki. There's a lot that you can do. Or Kazuna Tanaka and Utami. And Kazuna Tanaka would be like, Yuzuki, you're supposed to be my partner. So you can throw that story. And obviously Mayu and Utami always works. Anywho, back to this match. Boy, we just booked a whole tag.
We did. Really did.
In about 30 seconds. But no, really good stuff here. Yuzuki comes in. She plays all the hits, hits the basement drop kick. Eventually, though, we get the Misa comes in. She hits a chair shot onto Victoria Yuzuki because obviously we're playing up their match coming up in just a few days' time. So really good stuff there. I'm sorry, Misa hits the chair. Even though Misa wasn't in this match, she was in this match. She was in this match almost as much as anybody else in Darkness Revolution. Literally the point when she came out, I put her on I'm like, oh, she's doing double duty. I'm like, oh, no, she's not. but she hits the chair shot to Victoria Yuzuki, to kind of heat up their match coming up in just a few days' time. Eventually, though, Yuzuki gets rid of Misa Matsui and all of the shenanigans. We get this great little mini match with Rhea Sato and Victoria Yuzuki. We saw them a few weeks ago have an absolute banger for the United National Championship. But eventually, though, it is just too much. Victoria Yuzuki, she hits the super kick and the victory shooting to pin one Rhea Sato. 3.5 stars for me, good sir.
We move on to the main event. I have no idea why I have written that she submitted with a Boston Crab. The only thing that I can possibly think of is that I've duplicated the post when I've gone to write the match report, and I just haven't changed some of the bits. So apologies for that. Chika Goto did win with the Power Slam. And obviously we've had a conversation about the Power Slam before, and, my sort of... my stance on it was, your house shows are the time to get over a new move. Just for anyone that might have missed that, Matt, what are your thoughts on that?
And Chika Goto doesn't get a lot of wins. Lately, she has been. These last few months, she has been. So you need to establish one finisher. For example, I'm going to go with Mayu. Mayu has the two-step dragon suplex and the moonsault, basically kind of her two big finishers to go to, but she has established them over the years. So Chika Goto, and not only that, but Chika Goto, in my opinion, the coolest looking move she has in her arsenal is the GCS, the Goto Chokeslam. One, it looks cool. Two, she's one of the tallest wrestlers in the company. Three, the way she works, and it's like a hammerlock version of the Chokeslam, which I've never seen really many, if any, wrestlers do before in all of my years watching this great sport. And it gets the loudest reaction. Where the Power Slam, it looks good, nowhere near as good as the Chokeslam. So I think she needs to use these wins that she's getting to get the Chokeslam over and then move to the Power Slam.
Okay.
Again, I thought she was great here. I thought this match was really good. Obviously, the main crux of this match with Miku and Sakurai, I'll get there in a moment, but it's the main event. So you always want to end the main event with your coolest spot. And with Chika Goto getting the win, to me, it should have just been the boom, the big thing there. So that's what I went there. Chika Goto was great here. Obviously, great teamwork with Chika Goto and Manami Yuki. Again, championship match coming up in a few days, which we'll talk about. Now Ishikawa, she was great as always. So is Komomo Manami. We touched upon it a few times earlier this show. We're going to talk about it now. What is Miku and Sakurai going to do come first stream? Because
she's gonna fit her with a car. She's gonna have to go full 2000s Triple H and just mow her down in the car park. Because that's literally the only thing I can think that they haven't done. Because I'm genuinely worried. It was like the Grand Destiny match where Miku Aono said, basically alluded to the fact that she could kick harder, she just hadn't been yet. And we were like, yeah, sure, whatever. And then Grand Destiny came, and we were like, bloody hell, she was right. She can kick quite hard. She kicked quite hard there. So I do fear slightly for Mai Sakurai. But, again, Mai Sakurai, if we've learned nothing about her in Marigold, it is that she will give as much as she gets without a shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, this match, if the main crux of it, which I'm assuming it was to get you more excited for Miku versus Mai Sakurai, you have done your job. Really good match to end the show. 3 3/4 stars. Again, everybody looked really good. Nice seeing Chika Goto get a win in the main event. But as great as the Miku Mai Sakurai stuff here, as great as it was, Rob, we're going to be talking about some stuff that was even better in just a few moments. Good sir.
We certainly will. And let's go straight to that. So Marigold ran a double shot in Sapporo on the 6th of December, night 5 of the True Victory Tour, an afternoon show and an evening show, both from the APA Hotel and Resort in Sapporo. The attendance for the afternoon show, 356 people. It's the first time the company have run the venue, with their previous shows in Sapporo coming from the Châteauret's Gato Kingdom. Only All Japan seemingly have run this venue previously, and they've achieved attendances anywhere between the low 500s to over 700, depending on what type of card it was. They've ran some champion carnival shows there, and then they've ran some just normal tour shows. So again, it does depend. Obviously, the main event of this show was Victoria Yuzuki, the third Marigold United National Champion, defending that belt for the second time against Misa Matsui. It'll be Misa Matsui's second challenge for the belt, having lost to Mai Sakurai on the 4th of May 2025. Interestingly enough, it's Misa Matsui's 6th attempt at a singles title in Marigold. Her second for the United National title, her second in Sapporo as well. So again, not a great look for Misa currently in terms of singles gold. I reckon that's probably a story we're going to be telling in a couple of years' time. Singles record between the two prior to the show was 1-1. The show also marked the debut of Hokkaido native freelancer Gaki Nyan-Carmen, who we are going to be talking about as well. In terms of the results, we opened with Gaki Nyan-Carmen defeating Megaton with the leg clutch roll in 5 minutes and 50 seconds. A tag team match, Chikagoto and Minami Yuki against Nagisa Nozaki and Chiaki. That ended in a double countout in 14 minutes and 4 seconds. Tag team action, Miku Aono and Hummingbird defeating by Sakurai and Nao Ishikawa. Hummingbird defeating Nao Ishikawa with that modified rolling clutch in 12 minutes and 24 seconds. 6-woman tag match, Mai Iwatani, Shoko Koshino, and Komomo Minami defeated Sari Yamaoka, Kazuna Tanaka, and Yuuka Yamazaki. Shoko Koshino submitting Kazuna in 13 minutes and 14 seconds with that Texas Cloverleaf. And then in your main event, Victoria Yuzuki retained the United National Championship for a second time, defeating Misa Matsui with the victory sunset in 15 minutes and 26 seconds. To the surprise of no one, it was quite a good match. It was all right. The Gentleman's 3, I'm sure myself and Matt will give it.
Speaking of Gentleman's 3.
Gaki Nyan-Carmen, Matt. Obviously, a debut for her. What were your thoughts? Obviously, it's difficult to get a feel of what she's like as a wrestler. No disrespect to, obviously, the Queen of the Ring, Megaton. And we would get more of a feel of what Gaki was capable of against Nao Ishikawa in the evening show. But yes, I imagine, Matt, this was a case of it's Megaton shtick. Move on.
Yeah, not the best debut for Gaki because of you didn't cast her in the best role. I would have put the Komomo match on first. So this way,
Komomo, not now. Sorry.
Yeah, so I would have put that match because that match is really good, and we'll get into it.
Really
you get the Naui, you get the Megaton. And again, I wouldn't put Megaton in the openers. I would not. She's your comedy. She's like if you watch the Sendai Girls, they always put Shin in on like the third match because it's like that's your let up match, that's your comedy match. I would not put Megaton in the opener. Her stuff is fun. It's shtick. We know what we're getting, but the opener you always want to start off with a hot opener. Again, Gaki, I've never seen before, and I didn't get a good feel, neither did anybody else, of what she can do until we get to the match we're going to talk about from later on in the day. Gentlemen's 3 stars for me, good sir.
I think you're being quite disrespectful to the Queen of the Ring there. But we'll move on, Matt Turner. We'll move on. Clearly, you're cranky. We'll move on.
I'm never cranky.
How dare you?
That might be the biggest lie
How
ever told.
Dare you?
How dare you, Rob? Good one.
Of Megaton, Matt Turner.
And I'm going to be pulling for your team on Sunday, my man. When I'm at church and they ask to do the silent prayer, I'm going to be praying for your team. But you still decide to take a dig at me, buddy. Because that's all right. That's all right. What does John Cena always teach us? Rise above hate, buddy.
Chikagoto Minami Yuki against Chiaki and Nagisa Nozaki. I'm a big fan of this team of Chikagoto Minami Yuki. I think they work really, really well together, and they've built a relationship as well. A little bit out of necessity with obviously Koki Amare's awful luck in terms of injuries, but I think they've worked really well. Obviously, we saw Shinjuku face, they've built an actual tag team move arsenal, which is great. And I thought this was a good little preview ahead of that title match they'd have in 4 days' time.
I enjoy this match. I enjoyed the violence out of it. I didn't like the result. And I'm not just saying it's a double counter. I'm saying because Goto and Yuki are getting a title shot.
They should be getting the win.
Yeah, especially if they pin Chiaki. It's just like, hey, guess what? We got a title match against you. Like if they get a clean win over Chiaki, That's the way I would. Again, I'm not going to tell Rossi Ogawa how to book. What do I know compared to him? But just kind of scratching my head, I was like, you need Goto and Yuki a little more momentum going in. This would have been the perfect thing. Regardless, I thought this was great. Again, Chiaki and Chika Goto and Manami Yuki, great as a team. They had that spot where they do the clothesline, Russian leg sweep, great tag stuff back and forth. Then the match spills to the outside. And you think like Nagisa and Chiaki would have the advantage because this is their shtick. Towards the end, Chika Goto's like, I had enough. And she really see a more violent, aggressive side of Chika Goto. I'm like, all right, go Chika. All right, way to go. Manami Yuki, again, ever improving. I am all about Goto and Yuki, Manami Yuki. Hopefully somewhere next year they win the tag belts. I really kind of thought maybe they had a shot at winning them again in Shinjuku, which we'll talk about. Again, really good stuff. Again, Nagisa and Chika Goto, that really work. They really seem to work because like when they get in there, it's in the words of Jim Ross, bowling shoe ugly in the best way possible because they make it look like a fight. And you're just like, oh, damn, did anybody tell them like this is a work? Like they do a great job blurring the lines of how hard you can hit somebody, which is great, which goes to show you what great performers Chika Goto and Nagisa are. Really good stuff, buddy. 3 3/4 stars for me.
We move on then to Miku Aono and Hummingbird versus Mai Sakurai and now Ishikawa. Hummingbird getting that win, which I think we thought she might do ahead of her title match in the evening. How do you think she looked here, Matt? And again, Miku Aono and Mai Sakurai just ever so slightly ramping up that damage doing to each other.
And it gets better in the evening show, buddy.
That evening show is just brutal. It's brilliant.
I was like, what are we doing here in the best way possible? Obviously, again, Miku Aono, Mai Sakurai is the meat and potatoes of this match. We got to give it to Hummingbird and now Ishikawa. They start the match off. Great wrestling. And again, this is a pairing that works. We've seen them in like the 3-ways and the openers and the tags. Hummingbird and now Ishikawa works. I would say start your match off with a hot opener. Just do Hummingbird and now Ishikawa as the opener for every show. And I will be a happy camper because it works and it gets better. Great chain wrestling back and forth. Good stuff there. Eventually, we get Mai Sakurai and Miku Aono, and it's just like you'd think the cops are going to be called because there's like almost like an attempted murder. It's almost like they're watching the Cerebrus Natsupoi stuff and like, haha, we're going to outdo that. Like, I don't know. Just really, really great stuff, Rob. There was so many times I was looking down at my note. I was writing a note, and then like you would hear this like thud go off, and I was like, what the heck is that? And literally, I was doing the notes for the evening show while I was sitting on my couch. And I literally thought when Miku Aono hit Mai Sakurai that somebody hit my car. And I looked outside and I was like, oh my God, what is going on, Miku Aono? Or maybe I just have really good speakers in my TV. I don't know. But we did make mention, like once Miku Aono won the Dream Star, it really seems like she's upping her game as far as the violence level, which is a good thing when you're positioned as the main eventer, as the top champion. You're the top dog. Everybody's gunning for you. Mai Sakurai may want to think twice about like challenging for Miku Aono's belt because it looks like Miku Aono is ready like to commit murder on her. But Mai Sakurai is bringing it back with some great stuff, with the STKs, the kicks, the forearms. I'm so excited for this match. Again, we're seeing so much great wrestling, great wrestling while we're over there. And again, this is a match that may steal the entire weekend the way that it's being built up. And if to go by anything that they did last year, or again this year at First Dream. Really great stuff. This is one of my favorite match of these shows. 3 3/4 stars. Excellent stuff. And again, it was nice seeing Hummingbird getting a win here, building up momentum towards her championship match with one Mayu Iwatani. You got to give it up to Naomi Ishikawa, my friend. She was terrific here as well.
Yeah, I hope that we do put a little bit of momentum behind Naomi Ishikawa. I'm not necessarily saying a world title run, obviously, but twin star matches, potentially a twin star run. She's over. She's great in the ring. I'd love to see it, and I'm sure a lot of fans would agree. Speaking of Mayu Iwatani, as you just did, Matt, her Shoko Koshino and Komomo got the victory over Yuuka Yamazaki, Seria Moka, and Kazuna Tanaka. Matt, what were your thoughts on this semi-main?
This was really terrific. Really great stuff with Kazuna Tanaka and Komomo Manami. That's a singles match or singles program. I would like to see, again, Yuka look terrific here. Mayu kind of plays the hits and make sure that everybody's positioned where they need to go. You can kind of tell like Mayu is putting this match together, especially in the big spots to get the most out of it. Ultimately, towards the end, it was all about building up Shoko, and then you find out why. When we'll get into the Kazuna Tanaka match, or excuse me, the Victoria Yuzuki match. But really, really great stuff here. Again, we've seen Shoko win a lot of matches with that diving body press. Very underrated submission wrestler, and I like how she almost had like a lion tamer version of the Texas Cloverleaf to put away one of our favorites, Kazuna Tanaka. Really great stuff here. 3.5 stars for me.
We then obviously move on to the main event, the match we want to really focus on, because goodness gracious me, what a match this was. Victoria Yuzuki successfully retaining that belt against Misa Matsui. Matt, obviously, I've said my piece about Misa. I think she is tremendous. I think she melds speed with psychology. I think she has got a really good eye for other wrestlers as well, and accents what makes them look good. You've got Victoria Yuzuki in her intensity, Misa Matsui attempting to basically outrun and outthink Victoria Yuzuki. And towards the end, at least for me, despite Misa targeting the leg, despite Misa looking to effectively take out Victoria Yuzuki's extensive arsenal of moves, eventually it just became too much. Victoria Yuzuki was just too much. She was too intense, too sort of almost gung-ho to keep down, and obviously won the match with that fantastic victory sunset. Both these women are tremendous, but Misa Matsui is so damn good, Matt.
Yeah, this was great, and very much like Yuzuki versus Rhea Sato, where Rhea Sato was picking apart Yuzuki's knee. That's what Misa Matsui did in the early outstretches of this match. And I wish Yuzuki would, and again, she's 20. Her mentor is Mayu. I wish Yuzuki would just sell a little bit more to build up the drama and build up the sympathy. Again, very much, especially when you're in the main event at championship matches. But these are things that she is going to pick up a lot. And again, I'm not saying it was bad by any stretch of the imagination. I'm actually saying it was good. I'm saying it was good. It was very good, but it could have been better. Again, it's maybe in the back of my head, knowing Mayu is her hero and her mentor, and Mayu is like top 5 for me, all-time greatest sellers ever in the history of wrestling. So again, I'm sure those are things where Mayu will sit her down, teach her, like, hey, you did really good here, but you can get more out of the audience in the drama and the match and by putting your opponent over. Regardless, Rob, again, that's just a little nitpick I had about this match, which I'm sure Yuzuki will pick up sooner than later. But I like how we start with some great wrestling. Misa Matsui's like, yeah, I can't out wrestler. I'm going to pitch her to the floor. And then we get, Yuzuki all getting eaten, row 1, row 2, row 3. Misa starts working over Yuzuki's knee. Again, Yuzuki has really good selling here, really good fire, great fire back. She hits a beautiful super kick that sends Misa to the floor. And Yuzuki has one of the best planches to the floor. That big dive off the post.
It's great.
The way that she extends, I mean, she looks like an eagle up there. She looks like $1 million, like really great stuff. And I like it how in these big championship matches, she does it early in the match, so you get that big pop. Back in the ring we go. Great back and forth stuff there. One of the many things I love about Misa Matsui is, especially going to this championship match, they have protected and gotten over. This is how you get over a move, folks. The Misa Kawai driver. She has won matches with the double foot stomp. Don't get me wrong, but majority of her matches, especially she pinned Victoria Yuzuki in Cork and Hall with the Misa Kawai driver. So she's gotten that move over and again pinned the champion in Cork and Hall with said move. So when you're building up towards the finish, Misa hits the flying knee. She hits the Misa Kawai driver, which I don't think anybody has really kicked out of, and the crowd buys it as a fallacy. Yuzuki kicks out, and as Yuzuki's making her comeback, the crowd is more invested because, again, Misa has gotten that move over. Really brilliant stuff. Eventually, though, it is Yuzuki with the super kick and then a ripcord Spanish fly. It always seems like Yuzuki's working on some new move. I'm like, oh, how about that? I thought that was excellent. She hits another super kick, and then the top rope victory shooting, what she calls the victory sunset. Is that what it's called, Rob?
It is indeed.
Beautiful stuff. 15.5 minutes I thought was great. We always say with these younger wrestlers, sometimes the matches are so good, I just wish it got a little bit more time. They're giving Victoria Yuzuki a lot of time to tell her story. And even though Misa Matsui's like 0-6 in these singles matches, she's still having great match after great match after great match. Excellent stuff. 4.25 stars for me. My favorite match from this run of shows that we're going to talk about, good sir.
Yeah, I thought this was really good. I think I just preferred Victoria Yuzuki's previous title defense against Rhea Sato. But I do agree. I think Yuzuki, again, she's still so young into her career and has ascended to the top of this card or near the top of this card in such a record time that, yeah, there are going to be things that she needs to work on. And I do think selling that leg, especially considering the amount of damage Misa had done to it, I think selling it a little bit more would have added a little bit more to the match. Still a really good match. Still a great advert for Victoria Yuzuki as champion. A great advert for Misa Matsui just as a wrestler in general, because she's awesome. Best flying knee in the business. And genuinely, she might have performed her best one in that tag match. And we'll be talking about that in a moment. Let's talk then about the next show, which was the evening show from the 6th of December. Again, from the same venue, the APA Hotel and Resort in Sapporo. The announced attendance in the evening, 405. Now, this is a 49 person and a 13.76% increase on the afternoon show, which was Marigold's only other show in the venue. Now, this is really good for a number of reasons. So the number marks the highest single attendance the company have brought into Sapporo, while the combined total of 761 over this pair of shows is Marigold's best of the 3 double headers they have run in Hokkaido, beating out November 2024 with the total of 580 and the 739 in May 2025. So a really, really good number for Marigold. And again, bringing in the numbers in Sapporo, which is great. We opened up with a singles match. Now Ishikawa defeating... It was Now Ishikawa. I was right. Defeating Gaki Nyankarman with a double underhook facebuster in 9 minutes and 15 seconds. Never doubt the Rob. It was Komomo Minami defeating Megaton with the Como clutch in 9 minutes and 42 seconds. Singles match, Shoko Koshino defeated Chiaki with a Boston Crab in 9 minutes and 47 seconds. In a tag team match, then the Dawn's Revolution team of Nagisa Nozaki and Misa Matsui defeated Kazuna Tanaka and Yuuka Yamazaki in 10 minutes and 16 seconds. 6-woman tag match, Chika Goto, Minami Yuki, and Miku Aono defeated Victoria Yuzuki, Seriyamoka, and Mai Sakurai when Miku Aono legitimately tried to kill Mai Sakurai with an Avalanche Styles Clash in 15 minutes and 38 seconds. Goodness gracious me. And then in your main event, Mayu Iwatani defeated Hummingbird to retain the Superfly Championship, her 5th defense of that belt, hitting Hummingbird with the moonsault in 12 minutes and 41 seconds. Matt, it was Now Ishikawa taking on Gaki, and I don't know why I doubted myself, because I remembered the double underhook facebuster, and I was like, sure, Komomo doesn't do that, but nevertheless, a far better advert for the Hokkaido Freelancer.
Well, I apologize for getting this wrong, my friend. And I apologize in the same vein that I apologize yelling in your ear when the Sandman came out at Sabu's last match. I just saw like a fan version of that the other day, and I'm like, man, I still feel really bad that I yelled like a little girl at an NSYNC concert in the 90s. Anywho.
In the era of a really, really jet-lagged Rob as well.
You were all about the Sandman. Anywho.
It was a Sandman.
Damn right. Bozilla Mega Bane crushed it. Anywho, this did 2 things right. This is the match that you introduced Gaiki into. Hot opener. This was a hot opener. They put the Megaton match on second. Great. The Megaton match was fun. We'll talk about this. Was terrific. Gaiki, I think she's one of these ones, Rob. I mean, she's wearing a mask. My guess is she's probably a teenager. She doesn't seem like that. She seems like she's one of those ones that we'll see every now and again because of school, which is school. But now, go ahead.
You say that. Gaki,
yeah,
32.
Wow.
Before I'd researched it, I legitimately thought that she was 15. Yeah. She's 32.
Wow.
She's been. I'm sure. I will double check while you're talking, but I'm sure she's been wrestling since 2007.
She must eat her vegetables and her cucumbers, by the way, Rob. And she must exfoliate because she looks. Obviously, she's wearing a mask. She looks really young, but I thought she was great. I like to see her more. Marigold, her and Now, again, really great opener to start. Getting 9 minutes, again, terrific stuff. It was great seeing Now get a win. It was basically kind of like the high-speed style versus kind of like the smash mouth style that Now Ishikawa likes to do. 3.25 stars, again, a really good way to start off this show.
Yeah, debuted 21st of October 2007, 32 years old. There you go.
Wow. How about that?
There you
Wow.
go.
As Owen Wilson would say. Wow.
Wow. Komomo Minami versus Megaton, which is where I imagine you were thinking. Obviously, Komomo Minami getting the win with a Komo clutch. I think Komomo Minami is someone as well, and I know that you are obviously you said about Yuuka Yamazaki being able to play off that comedy, and not everyone can do that. I think it says a lot about you as a wrestler if you're able to wear as many different hats. I mean, look at my Sakurai.
That's sizes of hats too.
Well, that's true. But I think Komomo Minami being able to play off the comedy says a lot about her adaptability as a wrestler, which is something you do need to have in your arsenal as a professional wrestler.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. This was, again, I like that this is the 2 spot. This one worked a little bit better than the hummingbird match.
It did work.
I think like 9 minutes was a little bit too long for this, but like towards the end, it was kind of getting a little long in the tooth. But I really enjoyed this. Komomo was able to play off the comedy. Not as good as Yuuka Yamazaki again, man. I'm all about that. Really good stuff here. Komomo getting the win with the Komomo clutch. 3 stars for me.
Moving on then, Shoko Koshino versus Chiaki. Shoko Koshino obviously parlaying this into her first challenge for the United National Championship with Victoria Yuzuki. Victoria Yuzuki basically saying no, taking the Suri approach to Natsupoi, just saying no, you've got to prove yourself. Obviously, we know that Shoko Koshino did prove herself in Shinjuku Face. But Matt, how do you think she conducted herself in this match with Chiaki? And again, this proves that obviously Marigold aren't opposed to giving Chiaki losses, which, again, would have made more sense in the tag match on the previous show, but we move.
Yeah, obviously that's not what happened, but this is good getting Shoko Koshino a win here. I would have rather had her, again, considering if she is going to be that challenger, I would have had her got a more not a dominant win, but either win with the body press that we've seen her win matches with, or that high angled Texas Cloverleaf instead of a roll up finish. I still thought it was really good, but considering where we're going with Shoko, she needed that big statement win, and having her getting a big 1, 2, 3 or forcing Chiaki to tap out in the middle of the ring, your one half of your twin star championship, you might be like, oh, I didn't see that coming. And then with Shoko, possibly challenge that first stream, that would have made sense. Regardless, this was really good. Shoko starts off with that really high impact style offense, and then Chiaki just grinds down Shoko, the boot scrapes. And of course, Rob Goodwin, the claw. Shout outs to the Von Airs.
Indeed.
Love it. Claw slam. Really good stuff. Great heat. Chiaki doing a good job getting heat on Shoko. Shoko, great fire, great comeback. We don't really get to see Shoko when she has a comeback because most of her stuff when she takes heat is in a tag match, then she's tagging out to a Yuzuki or a Mayu. But we see that she's got great selling, the great levels of selling, and then has really great fire on her comeback. And then we just get some back and forth stuff here where Chiaki just gets caught. Shoko getting the win here. 3.5 stars. Really enjoy this one.
We move on then to a tag team match. Kazuna Tanaka and Yuuka Yamazaki not quite having enough about them against Nagisa Nozaki and Misa Matsui. Again, I just look at the renders. Just look at the render. Yuuka Yamazaki looks like a heel. She just looks like she would fit in with the Darkness Revolution. Perhaps didn't wrestle like it on this show, but Matt, I am convinced.
Yeah, you know what? You have that because now she's got like that hair in between her face.
The emo fringe. Absolutely.
Yeah, and she's kind of has like the dark eyes. Man, you might be right. She's wearing the same color scheme as Misa Matsui. Oh, it's confirmed. It's confirmed. Oh, man. I do want to say this. Everybody's got the same pose. They're all crossing their arms.
Oh, yeah. It's very uniform. I like that. Yeah. Very mirrored.
Yeah, look at that. They're like the people guarding the castle over there. What are they called over there in England?
Palaces.
The guards. Yeah. The guards. What are they called with the big hats? Don't they have names for them?
The beef eaters.
The beef eaters. Oh, yeah, that's right. Because they have the gin called beef eaters.
They do have beef eater gin. There you go. Right. A little bit of English for you there.
There you go. I may have sampled some of that. Anywho, back
we all have, brother. It's all we drink here.
Really, you guys are big gin drinkers over there, huh, Rob?
Kirsty is. I'm not as much. I do like a gin. Don't get me wrong, but it's not my tipple of choice.
Do you like the gin and juice, buddy?
Oh,
laid back.
We're not going to sing the rest of it. We will get demonetized.
No. Anywho, back to this match. Again, Yuuka was terrific here. Absolutely, I'm such a fan of her. She works really well with Kazuna Tanaka, and it just seems like everybody works really well with Kazuna
Mhm.
Tanaka. Kazuna Tanaka and Misa Matsui, that's magic. Kazuna Tanaka and Nagisa just beating each other up. And by beating each other up, I mean Nagisa really laying into Kazuna Tanaka. But when she makes her comeback, she really lays it in. She only got a few strikes on Nagisa. Nagisa did a really good job, like, beating up Kazuna. But at the same time, it makes sense because Nagisa is the elder statesman in this match. So she does have the advantage when it comes to as far as experience goes. But really great stuff, especially towards the end. We get some great teamwork back and forth, but it's just too much of Nagisa and Misa Matsui, with Nagisa getting the win with basically like her version of the Kikagoye, as I would call it. 10 minutes I thought was really, really good stuff. Again, I'm never not going to be impressed by Yuuka Yamazaki. But now I'm going to be watching these shows, my friend, these shows coming up to see if we're going to see the heel turn. And every little thing that she does, I'm going to point out. We're like, Rob was right. Rob was right. 3 3/4 stars for me. Thoroughly enjoyed this. More Kazuna Tanaka versus Misa Matsui. Cut aside.
So we move on to legitimate attempted murder, I think. Miku Aono absolutely obliterating Mai Sakurai with that avalanche styles clash. I mean, goodness gracious me. And then, of course, obviously in Shinjuku face, you've got Mai Sakurai literally locking in the STF till Miku Aono passes out. Again, I don't know where we go from here. Just the intensity, the hatred and everything has been so ramped up in this feud. Like, is it going to be anything left of these two by Ota Ward?
And hopefully we can do a preview for Ota Ward before we leave, or maybe when we're in Japan, we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
But once we get to the rest of these shows before Ota Ward, we're going to have a serious conversation on what was the more violent and better lead up. Was it Utami and Mirai? Because they had a really violent lead up to their championship match back in May. Or is it this one? Because this one so far is on that level. It really, really is. Obviously, again, the main crux is Miku Aono versus Mai Sakurai. But for me, Rob, it really seemed like they were setting up Chikagona and Victoria Zuki. They had some really great stuff back and forth, and I was like, maybe that's where they might go for a first stream. Again, if they pull the trigger on the Shoko thing, because we keep saying, what do they have for Chikagota? She needs something big. Her and Victoria Zuki in Ota Ward, I think, would be a massive statement for Chikagoto. A lot of this, too, was Chikagoto and Manami Yuki getting their tag stuff over. Sarah Yamaoka, who I have to look at the other side of the screen because I'm fearful of this death. She has the best render. She has the best render because I'm like scared.
Yeah.
Anywho, this was all about Miku Aono and Mai Sakurai. And Mai Sakurai looks like she's going to put away Miku Aono. And Mai Sakurai is really giving it to Miku Aono. Then Chikagoto for the save. And she's the one that basically scoops up Mai Sakurai, assist Miku Aono, which is funny because Miku Aono and Chikagoto, they still kind of have this underlying feud because of what happened at the one Korakuen show. But it was really interesting to see if Chikagoto's just like, well, I'm on the same team now, so now I need to help you out. She's the one that helps out Miku Aono, hitting a top rope styles clash, not on Korakuen, not on a pay-per-view, on a random double shot. And I was like, well, all right, okay. As if my interest couldn't peak anymore. And don't get me wrong, like that was obviously, and again, I always say you always want to end your match on the biggest bump. That is the biggest bump. That's the coolest spot. And they did so much other great stuff to lead up to that. But again, buddy, it's like, because we've seen them do the top rope styles clash before, but I'm like, in a random 6-person match, all right, you piqued my interest more than you already did. Kudos to Miku Aono and Mai Sakurai, buddy, because I am so excited for that match on 1-3. 4 stars. 4 stars.
There we go. Moving on to our main event, Mayu Iwatani against Hummingbird for the Superfly Championship. I've already sort of alluded to this while we were talking about the Komomo Minami challenge that immediately followed this. Hummingbird's best singles outing by an absolute mile for me. I think this could arguably be her best performance, full stop, in Marigold. She was given the chance to stretch her wings. There you go. And she took the opportunity with both hands. She really did. I think she worked with Mayu really well. Mayu gave her a lot, but also, especially at the start of the match, was not afraid to basically say, "This is it. Come on. Give me more. And we get that complacent side from Mayu occasionally where often it will cost her. And she was almost antagonizing Hummingbird. Bring more, bring more, bring more when Hummingbird's on her knees and trying to hit her from her knees. And it's, a trope we see quite often. And Hummingbird realized from quite early on that just going help, pell-mell at Mayu Iwatani wasn't going to work. She exploded out of the traps with that drop kick, went straight for it, but realized afterwards slowing it down and be more deliberate with her moves was actually a better shot in this match. And it's a complete difference to what we saw when she wrestled Natsumi Shozuki in Korakuen Hall, where a lot was being put into Hummingbird being completely unique in her moveset and trying all these strange and wonderful things. And, here she toned it down, still had that Hummingbird flair, and I think as a result, wrestled her best match. And I think if she can find that, she's a future Superfly champion, in my opinion. I think she proved in this that if she is capable of having that style of match, she absolutely deserves to be considered in that conversation as a Superfly champion, because I think this was her best performance, not just because it's against Mayu, who, of course, again, we talk all the time about Mayu, but I think because she's found her groove. She's found that balance between trying too much and trying to be so unique that it actually takes away from her wrestling and her actual wrestling skill. I think she's found that happy medium between the two. And ultimately, it paid dividends here. Ultimately, she lost, of course, but again, I think there are more positives to come out of this match, certainly, than negatives.
100%. So you're saying this is Hummingbird's best performance, buddy? Is that what I know you said it, but
yeah. Oh, I don't think there's anything even close, is there?
So you'll say this is the highest she's ever flown?
Oh, for God's sake.
Come on, you did the first one.
I knew something was coming and I couldn't quite get my head around where you were going with it. I was like, that makes sense. I like it. Well done. Well done, good sir.
Anywho, I love how this match starts. Again, it's a Superfly Championship, so you're expecting that, again, that high-speed style that we're so accustomed to. So you start with that. A great arm drag exchange. Hummingbird hits a satellite head scissors, sends Mayu to the floor. And we saw Hummingbird do this spot a few times the last few shows. It's not like an Asai moonsault, but basically she jumps on the second rope from the she's on the apron. She jumps from the second rope, does like a twisting body press. It's almost like an Asai moonsault. Really like that, wiping out Mayu. You're like, Hummingbird is just like, you know what, Mayu? You're the one that issued this challenge. I'm going to take this opportunity. Hummingbird, the first 2 or 3 minutes, completely blows Mayu Utami out of the water, and the crowd really notices. And then Mayu's like, okay, all right. And then here comes the kicks and the boot scrapes and the super kicks, and just like Mayu hitting Hummingbird so hard that you thought that this was Sunday morning breakfast at Denny's, because she was cracking those eggs, Rob. Cracking those eggs. I've had worse ones. I've had worse ones. Mayu hits the frog splash for a 2 count. She goes to the moonsault, misses the moonsault, which I like how eventually she comes back and hits it. Misses the moonsault. Hummingbird with a European clutch. A lot of people bid on that for the fall seed. It was
really well done as well. Really well done.
And Mayu's one of the greatest ever to like kicking out at like 2.999, like that shock pin. Like, oh my God, I got pinned. I can't believe it. Like, does a great job selling and putting over, even though Hummingbird didn't win with it. I wouldn't be shocked to see Hummingbird pull off some upsets in 2026 with that European clutch, because now it's ingrained in our minds that she almost won the Superfly Championship in beating the greatest of all time, Mayu, with it. Excellent stuff there. Hummingbird hits a huge frog splash. That scores a 2 count. Mayu comes back, and I love it how anytime Mayu gets in trouble, right back to the strikes. Right back to the strikes. Super kick, head kick, buzzsaw kick, and then hits the moonsault for the 3 count. 4.25 stars for me. This was great. I wish it went a little bit longer, a little over 12 minutes. I think if it went to like that 14 or 15-minute mark, this would have been really, really, I mean, this was great. Don't get me wrong. But I think it would have been closer to that 5 stars. But this was terrific. Hummingbird, it was sink or swim, and we know that she was going to absolutely swim. We know that Mayu was going to make sure she got her there. Not that Mayu had to carry the match, but it's Mayu. You know she's the one leading, and Hummingbird was with her every step of the way. Excellent stuff for me. Thoroughly enjoyed this one.
Moving on, then, the final show we are going to be talking about today, the final show from this block of shows, night number 6 of the True Victory Tour, 10th of December in Shinjuku Face live on Wrestle Universe. The return of Utami Hayashishita. She will return on this show after missing action since October 27th through a need to recover from an unspecified injury. And of course, the 6th Marigold Twin Star champions, couldn't remember the title name then, Mizumatsu and Chiaki will be defending their titles for the second time on this show. In terms of the attendance, the announced attendance inside Shinjuku Face was 335. Now, that is a 6.35% increase on their previous event at Shinjuku Face, which was 315 in November, and is their best at the venue since the Dream Star Grand Prix. Now, the number still falls down below the company average at the venue, with Marigold currently averaging 379 at Shinjuku Face from the 11 times they've run the venue. It is worth pointing out that does include the 500 plus they drew for Nanae Takahashi's retirement show as well. The produce show, sorry, not the retirement show, the produce show. In terms of the results, then we open with a singles match. Kazuna Tanaka defeating Komomo Minami with the jumping knee lift in 8 minutes and 16 seconds. We then had a singles match. Chanyota defeated Megaton with a lariat in 32 seconds. We then had a singles match. Chanyota defeated Megaton with a lariat in 26 seconds. We then had a singles match. Chanyota defeated Megaton with a lariat in 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Yes, those are 3 singles matches. And yes, it was hilarious. Three-way match. The returning Arina Yamanaka defeated Hummingbird and now Ishikawa. Arina Yamanaka pinning Hummingbird with a Northern Lights suplex in 9 minutes and 2 seconds. Tag team action, the Darkness Revolution, Rhea Sato and Nagisa Nozaki. They defeated Utami Hayashishita and Yuuka Yamazaki, with Rhea Sato submitting Yuuka with the reverse chicken wing in 13 minutes and 20 seconds. 6-woman tag action next. Mayu Utani, Mai Sakurai, and Shoko Koshino defeated Victoria Yuzuki, Miku Aono, and Seri Yamaoka. Mai Sakurai submitting Miku Aono with the STF in 14 minutes and 23 seconds. And then in your main event, the Marigold Twin Star Championships on the line. The Darkness Revolution team of Misa Matsui and Chiaki defending successfully against Chikagoto, Minami, Yuki. Chiaki pinning Minami Yuki with the diving guillotine leg drop in 17 minutes and 16 seconds. Matt, you wanted a hot opener to start the show. Kazuna Tanaka versus Komomo Minami. How was that for you?
Oh, hell yeah. Excellent stuff. Again, two of my favorite wrestlers on this roster, especially, the younger wrestlers coming up. This was great. As soon as I saw this card and saw this was the opener, I'm like, this was obviously in Tokyo. Live stream, Shinjuku Face, always a great crowd with great acoustics in the building. It always sounds really loud. This is exactly what I want for my professional wrestling. Two fantastic up-and-coming wrestlers taking advantage of match number 1. 8 minutes and 16 seconds, buddy. I wish it were 10 minutes and 16 seconds. This was great. A great back and forth between the two baby faces going back and forth. Really great stuff. Kazuna Tanaka, or Komomo Minami, really showing off that high-speed Superfly style. Again, more than likely the next challenger for Mayu Utami for the Superfly Championship. Kazuna Tanaka doing what she does best. Ground and pound with the Fujiwara arm bars, the kicks, the forearms. Really great stuff. A really great 50-50 back and forth match that the crowd was cheering both wrestlers, which is what you want as your opener, especially with two baby faces. Ultimately, though, it is Kazuna Tanaka hitting a huge head kick that opens up the door for that running knee. 3 3/4 stars. Fantastic way to start this fantastic show.
We then move on to Megaton and Chanyota. 3 times Megaton attempted to survive Chanyota, and to be fair to Megaton, who I believe is now 0-44 recently, she didn't submit in this match, and in any of these 3 matches, and I would argue that is progress.
Absolutely. Baby steps, buddy. What do I always tell you?
Baby steps.
Baby steps. Sometimes you look at that mountain and you're like, man, that's a big mountain to climb. Just step over the rock that's in front of you. That's it. And that's what Megaton did here. They bring Chanyota in for this. 3 matches. I hope she got 3 separate envelopes for this, buddy. Easy payday for Chanyota. Technically, she worked 3 times, so
She
3
did.
wins. Maybe Chanyota's the next challenger because now she's stacking up those wins, buddy. She's stacking up those wins. Here, America. This is what I want for my Megaton matches. Funny, fun. Again, it's not Malenko Guerrero. It's not Flair Steamboat. But this is one that in a year from now, I'd be like, remember that time when Chanyota just lariated Megaton like for 4 minutes straight and won 3 matches? Yeah, I will remember that. Very much like Rabbi, I don't know if you saw where Shoko Nakajima at a TJPW show wrestled an inflatable dinosaur. I will remember that forever. I will remember that forever, like this one as well. I didn't rate it, but this is exactly what I want for my Megaton matches. Fun, funny, not the opener to go after the opener. Perfect placement for this match. I was thoroughly sports entertained.
Moving on then, obviously, from Megaton eating 3 consecutive lariats, we move on to the 3-way. And just the reminder that Arina Yamanaka should be on more of these shows because she's great. I thought she had really, really good chemistry with both these 2 women, Matt.
Yeah, we've seen Naomi Shikow and Hummingbird. I mentioned it before. They work really well together. Singles, tags, 3-ways. You're putting Arina Yamanaka in. She's clearly the star of this match. No disrespect to Hummingbird or Naomi Ishikawa, who I think are actually maybe better in-ring wrestlers than Arina. Arina just screams star power. So they did a good job highlighting her. Now in Hummingbird, their stuff was great. But we almost got like a little mini singles match with Arina and Hummingbird. And that's a match I would like to see 10, 12 minutes. Again, Naomi Ishikawa, she's fantastic. But Arina Yamanaka, very much like a Chanyota, is somebody that they need to sign to a Marigold contract sooner than later. But I know, as you've alluded to on podcasts in the past, good sir, she owns 42 yoga studios. So that may be a little bit busy, but she is really, really terrific in getting better with each and every outing. And again, not only is she good in ring, but not only is she good bell to bell, but she's entertaining curtain to curtain. Again, aura farming, as we call it. Really good stuff. 3.5 stars for me.
Moving on swiftly, Utami Hayashishita is back in Marigold, teaming here with Yuuka Yamazaki in a losing effort against Ria Sato and Nagisa Nozaki. Obviously, that makes sense when you consider that it will be those that were nominated by Chiaki and Misamatsui to challenge at Ota Ward. But Matt, great to see Utami back in the ring.
Yeah, look at that render. It almost feels like she's Gambit, like she just threw one of those explosive cards at me. That's what it really does. And Yuuka Yamazaki looks like the biggest heel in this graphic here, buddy. You're right. You're right. She looks very angry. And again, look at her outfit matches Nagisa Nozaki's. I'm not telling you something that you don't already know. This was really, really great. Great seeing Utami back, steamrolling through Rhea, steamrolling through Nagisa. But as you mentioned at the start of this episode, it really seemed like they kind of eased her back. She wasn't like full-blown Utami just yet. She came in, did the great stuff, make sure she pieced Nagisa and Rhea's offense in the best possible spots. Yuuka was terrific here. Especially towards the end, her stuff with Ria Sato was terrific. But Ria Sato, those last 2.5 minutes, was made to be the star of this match, submitting Yuuka with the cattle mutilation. Not only that, obviously, we have seen Bryan Danielson do that cattle mutilation a million times. We've seen Rhea do it quite a bit. But like before she goes the bridge over, she stands on her head for a good few seconds. And it's a really great visual as Nagisa's keeping Utami at bay. And then she flips over, forcing Yuuka to tap out. Really great stuff. Great seeing Utami back again. One of my favorite wrestlers in all of wrestling. 3.5 stars for me.
Moving on, 6-woman tag team action. Shoko Koshino was told by Victoria Yuzuki that she would need to prove herself ahead of a potential United National Championship challenge. Obviously, Miku Aono having just blitzed Mai Sakurai with an avalanche styles clash. Mai Sakurai looking for revenge in that. There was a lot going on in this match, Matt. A lot of moving pieces.
I like how, and again, every one of these shows that we're talking about, 4 of them, that Miku Aono's on one side and Mai Sakurai's on the other. And pretty much every one of these tag matches, somebody else wants to start. Where Sakurai and Miku Aono are like, nope. I know Mayu's in this match. I know Yuzuki's in. Nope, we're starting. And you get the big lockup and the headlock. And they're grinding each other down where it's just like, something is going to explode and you're waiting. But then we get some great stuff here. I mean, you have Mayu in this match. We get great stuff with Mayu and Sari. Great stuff with Mayu and Victoria Yuzuki. Shoko Koshino is somebody, obviously, that we are pushing. By we, I mean Marigold. We are pushing because she has potentially a big championship match coming up in Ota Ward. So they make sure to highlight her stuff as well. But then once everybody hits the big moves, we get the dives to the floor, you get the big waterfalls. I mean, again, Shinjuku Face is one of my favorite buildings to watch wrestling because the crowd is really invested and it just sounds like a really great atmosphere. So you get the great build-up. Sari's hitting the big corner spear. Shoko's hitting all the big spots. And then everybody just lays out. So we get more violence of Miku and Mei Sakurai. And I love how, again, on the last preview tag, Miku Aono with the violent styles clash. This one, Mei Sakurai with the STK and forcing Miku Aono to pass out with the STF. What a visual that is. Because one thing to hit the 3 count. It's just like, and then the person selling. But this one, Sakurai gets the win. And it's like, hey, wake up, Miku Aono. Wake up. I'm taking your belt. I don't know if that's what she said, but in my opinion, that's what she said. It's like, I choked you out. I embarrassed you in the middle of this ring where your tag partner is the United National Champion. And by the way, the greatest of all time, Mayu Iwatani's in this match. This was a statement win for Mai Sakurai. And I love it how it's kind of 50-50 booking, which I'm not a fan of, not unless it works. I love the 50-50 booking on these Miku versus Mai matches. And this is a statement win for Mai Sakurai. My favorite match from this show, 4.25 stars. I thought this was terrific.
Misa Matsui and Chiaki successfully retaining over Chika Goto and Minami Yuki. And it's Minami Yuki I want to start by start talking about it because it was a case of we knew that if Chika Goto and Minami Yuki weren't winning this, which I think all but a small portion of Marigold fans thought would be the case, it will be Minami Yuki who will be taking the fall. It would become then a case of, well, how does she perform in this main event, in her first career title match in this position? I think she did very, very well. I think she played off her team with Chika Goto very well. You got Chika Goto, who's obviously the power, who is the biggest star of the two. And Minami Yuki played her sort of, not necessarily her role of underdog, but certainly someone who needed the support of her partner, someone who was getting beaten down quite a lot and isolated a lot by the more experienced team, by the champions. She had her moments having that choke locked in on Chiaki, multiple times on Chiaki, actually. I thought she did very well. It was a solid title match and a solid main event. The moment I want to talk about, though, is those waterfall finishes. And the reason is because Misa Matsui hits the best flying knee strike you are ever going to see. And it wasn't the end of the waterfall. And I was so annoyed by it. I was like, no, make that the end. Make that the focus. But again, I thought this was a really solid match. I'm really impressed with Minami Yuki's progress. I think she's someone who is really solid, very rarely puts a foot wrong, is someone who is dependable. And I think in a team with Chika Goto, there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, and again, I mentioned at the beginning of the show, I was watching this match with my wife just because, again, she's trying to get more ingrained into the Marigold wrestler, so this way she's not completely lost when we go over to Japan. So, I said, well, here's your championship match. And she's like, okay, Chika Goto here is clearly the leader of this team. And I'm like, because she's doing the chant, the crowd's with it. Obviously, I was doing it the whole entire match, which she was easily annoyed. So don't be shocked if I get a shoot in my head doing the Goto, or the Chika. So it's like, okay, clearly she's the leader. Now, my wife likes the faster style wrestlers. Will Ospreay is her favorite wrestler. She loved Natsupoi until Natsupoi turned and went with Tam. And then obviously that's a whole nother podcast, Rob, but you know where I'm going. So obviously she enjoyed Misa Matsui from jump one because of she works that fast style. And the one thing that she didn't, that I was kind of thinking that she brought up is this is the main event of a live show, championship match, Shinjuku Face. Your two leaders are Chika Goto and Misa Matsui. This match went 17 minutes, I think a little bit too long. And the reason why, and I was thinking this, and my wife, who watches a little bit of wrestling, pointed this out. Misa and Chika Goto are the two best wrestlers in this match, in my opinion. I think you'll agree. No disrespect to Chiaki, Minami Yuki, but Goto and Misa are great. They weren't in that match this much, especially compared to Minami Yuki and Chiaki. If this was like a middle of the card match or a main event at somewhere else where it wasn't for the belts, I can see that. But it's your main event, championship match, the last match of these 4 shows. Your two big stars are Chika Goto and Misa Matsui, and they were in this match like 25-30%. Chiaki and Minami Yuki were good, but I think it would have been better if we got more Goto and Misa Matsui. And again, 17 minutes, I think it went a little bit too long and they started to lose the people. I think maybe because of what they saw in the match before of so many near-death experiences, and I think this went just a little bit too long. I had 3.5 stars, good enough stuff. Again, I love Manami Yuki. I think she's great. She's going to consistently get better. And again, maybe I'm just being selfish, but I would have liked to see more of a Chika Goto and Misa Matsui doing some stuff, pairing off there, where it really just seemed like it was a long, drawn-out singles match with Chiaki and Manami Yuki. And I think they kind of lost the crowd a little bit, Rob. At least that's where I was kind of in that. But again, my wife pointed out really quickly, Chika Goto seems like she's the biggest star in this match, and she was a massive fan of what Misa was doing, and we didn't get enough of it in this match. And again, that's not indicative of Chiaki and Manami Yuki, who I'm fans of. I just really, really like Misa Matsui and Chika Goto.
Sure. No, I get that entirely. For me, I didn't feel that way. I can sort of see the crowd getting a little bit restless, but I don't think it impacted the match. Certainly not my enjoyment anyway. My only big thing about it would be I don't think Chika Goto's sort of hot tag was hot enough. I would have liked to have seen more from that. That's my only sort of nitpick from this.
Especially when I didn't mean to cut you off, partner, especially when she has the coolest chant. Like everybody is
into it. Absolutely. Yeah.
And she's the big bruiser in this match. So the hot tag goes to her. Manami Yuki did a great job selling. So it should be boom, 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 boom. Maybe she hits the choke slam. Maybe she hits the giant swing. Maybe she does the giant swing to the floor, which she likes to do. Like that'd be a really cool visual. Like maybe it's a double power slam. But yeah, I totally agree. I think they could have gotten a lot more out of it. Will they get there eventually? Sure, because Goto and Yuki are constantly getting better. Again, I want to see Goto and Yuki get a big championship run. It really, like, to me, when this match was over, I was like, maybe they're going to run it back at Oda Ward, because for me, they left a lot more on the table. Again, it was good. It was very good, but I just think these two teams have another level, because I'm like, maybe they'll just run it back, and then nope. Then Rhea Sato and Nagisa come in. I'm like, oh, I'm all for that. Of course, I was wrong again. The one thing we'll say, Rob, over these past 5 or 6 weeks when it comes to Joshi tag wrestling predictions, you may as well call me Samsonite, because I am way off. That's a Dumb and Dumber reference.
Love it. Matt, obviously that rounds up what we are going to be talking about. Obviously, Marigold have shows on the 13th and the 14th of December. We will be reviewing those next week as we do inch closer towards First Stream. But Matt, before we go, it's time, my friend, for, I imagine, the briefest of glimpses of Julia.
Yeah, hold on. Here's all the notes that I have. Oh, anyway. It's, again, Darren, thank you. Thank you, by the way, buddy.
Darren.
So we have a match with Jade Cargill and Alba Fire. You might be like, Matt, what's this got to do with Julia? I'll get there. So Chelsea Green distracts Jade Cargill. Julia doesn't like it. She comes down. She beats up Chelsea Green. And yeah, that's the gaze at Julia, buddy. We're eventually getting to a Julia and Chelsea Green match. I don't know when. We're teasing it. I read something the other day that there has not been a women's U.S. championship match on a premium live event in the year history of the title. What are we doing? Julia's great. Chelsea Green's not only a great wrestler, but somebody that's over in every aspect of professional wrestling. Like, she understands crowd psychology. That's a big match. Julia and Chelsea Green. Like, I don't know what we're doing. I love Julia. She's fantastic. They kind of did with Io after WrestleMania, where it's just like she's kind of left off TV. So maybe they're just waiting. But man, maybe it's just, I'm getting restless, and so are the Julia fans too. So that is our. Might have to cross out gaze and put glimpse or blink at Julia at this point. Just a massive fan of Julia.
Where is Julia?
Waldo.
Ladies and gentlemen, that does bring us to the end of another episode of the Marigold Standard. We hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be back next week, as I mentioned, for more Marigold action. In the meantime, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast wherever you get your podcast. We are literally everywhere. Leave us a comment and a 5-star review if you think that we have earned it. Patreon.com/the Stardomcast for all of our archived episodes, new episodes for as little as $1 a month to be ad-free and early release as well as our show reviews, our show previews, all of the news and that kind of stuff. You can find us on social media at Marigold Podcast, apart from on Threads, Instagram, or Blue Sky, where we are Talk Joshi. You can talk to me on Twitter at Real Rob Goodwin. Matt, sign us off, good sir.
Folks, questions, comments, suggestions, anything you need from me, Matt Turner OF on the Instagram and the Twitter. Folks, if you want to buy yourself a fantastic book for the holidays or just in case, I'm almost 2 hours in. I apologize, buddy.
Honestly.
Terrible. What an awful friend I am. Building Blocks, 50 of Wrestling's Greatest Matches by one Rob Goodwin. I love it how Rob, I don't know if he realized he did this. He did a comic book style thing where at the end of a comic book, like a really good writer, like the last page leaves you wanting more and he leaves you the hook. Rob leaves you the hook for Building Blocks too. More great matches coming
absolutely
sometime in the next 10 years. But that's a great job. You basically pulled a Brian Michael Bendis. Good job for you, sir. Good job. By the way, Brian Michael Bendis is the creator of Miles Morales. So I put you in good company, buddy. Anywho,
there you go.
Head over to Amazon, type in Rob Goodwin, buy the book, buy all of his books. They're great. I'm not just saying this because he's my friend. They are really, really fantastic. I thoroughly enjoy each and every time Rob comes out with a professional wrestling book. Folks, if you still are not sure if you want to buy Rob's book or you have any other questions, you want to shoot me an email, I'm going to tell you the email address. The email address is thestardomcast22@gmail.com. Folks, that's going to wrap it up for another fantastic episode of the Marigold Standard. We greatly appreciate your support. Can't do without you. It's like I always say, just not my podcast. It's our podcast. Because when all is together, everybody's different. Everybody's special.